Wait for the camera, Al. Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 on the restoration series of this Mk1 Golf GTI. Okay, so I have now collected the Golf from Alex at ABS Blasting. He's done another fantastic job. This shell is so clean, really pleased with it. I'll just walk you around some corrosion. So we've got a little bit on the bulkhead either side, which is not too bad at all. Front scuttle's had a repair here and it's crusty along there, so we'll be repairing that. In the front, we've just got some little peppery bits, and you can't really see it this side, but this section of floor where you've got the seam that goes down to meet the sill is rotten, but it's only an area about that big. It's actually the same the other side. Rear wheel arches have had a couple of patches, so we'll be replacing those, but generally speaking, the rear quarter is really straight. No sign of accident damage. It's, yeah, really pleased with that. A little bit of grot here. We've got the spare wheel well, that's going to need a repair. Rear valance as well, that needs a little bit of work, and a little bit on the inside of the wheel tub as well, but generally speaking pretty good. As we go around the other side, this wheel arch has had the same treatment, and again we've got some grot in here, but it's all little bits. That's pretty much it for the shell, which, you know, for a car that was built in the 80s, that's brilliant. That's a really good solid shell. Sunroof panel's got some perforation, but the bonnet's mint. This wing just needs a little bit of repair work, nothing major. This wing's a little bit worse, so we'll need an arch for that. And then, yeah, both doors and the tailgate are absolutely mint. So, yeah, really pleased with this. I mean, I know it looked like pretty much a perfect car that didn't need doing. Obviously, having it blasted, we've shown some areas that do need some work. But, yeah, this should be a lovely car to build. Right, let's get it in epoxy. Okay, so this right-hand front wing is actually not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some localized repairs. That one there as well, and this wing should be good to go. The other wing isn't so good, so we've bought a genuine Volkswagen replacement for that. So I've made up this little repair piece, which I will now lay over the rust hole, scribe around it, and start the repair. Well, that's the first small rust hole repaired. On to the next one. Exactly the same process for this. Okay, next up we've got the sunroof panel. It's just got some perforations in it, along here and along here. And inside's pretty good, just a little bit here. So yeah, we'll repair this next. So personally, I've always found repairing roof skins and sunroofs pretty tricky without warping them. As you can see here, I've tacked the repair panel in place and I'm literally doing tack and cool to try and keep as much heat out of the panel as possible to make sure I don't warp it. And that's the sunroof panel finished. I'm quite happy with how this has come out. It's not completely perfect. It will definitely need a light skim of filler, but yeah, pretty happy with that. Okay, so we've now got the Golf in the metalwork room. As you can see, it's had a repair there before, not the prettiest repairs, but I think I'm going to slice this whole edge off because the inner lip, I'll show you. Kind of see how it's separating. That's because there is rust between the inner lip and the outer lip. So if I ignore that, it's only going to come through in a few years. So yeah, gonna make a start on this wheel arch. Okay, with the wheel arch removed, or the outer skin, we can now see the grot in here at the back edge of the sill. This was all just patched over. Obviously we've got the hole there to deal with. We've got a little bit of lip here to repair. Most of it's not too bad. And then we've got a big chunk missing there and some holes here. So we've got a few repairs to make before we can think about putting this outer wheel arch back on. So I generally make my templates out of cardboard or masking tape. With masking tape, it's super easy to then transfer over onto metal and cut the shape. Okay, with the front of the wheel type repaired, it's time to move on to the back part. I use masking tape again to make a template and cut a piece of metal to shape. Then I'm using the bead roller just to put a shaped flange on the edge. I can then cut out the remaining rust and weld the panel in. Next up is this inner tub bit here, and then we're going to cut this off because this is part of the outer wheel arch. Okay, with all of those areas repaired, I can now lay over the repair panel, scribe my line and trim it to suit. Well, that's everything trimmed back and prepped and painted, ready for us to weld on the outer arch. Well, that's the wheel arch fully welded on now. Time to grind the welds back. Okay, so when grinding my welds down, I use the 20mm belt sander generally if I can get that in wherever I'm grinding. I use that with a 40 grit. I then use an 80 grit 10mm belt sander if I need to. Sometimes it's a bit awkward to get the 20mm in, but it just takes it down a little bit more. And then we finish it off like this with a 36 grit wallet and then a 50 grit. So as you can see, we take it down in stages and it gives us a nice flush finish at the end there. And if you're feeling really fancy, you can buzz over that with a 80 disc on a DA. So yeah, let's crack on and finish this all off. And there you have it, that is the wheel arch repaired. Really pleased with how this side has come out, and it will need minimal filler. While I was on this side, I decided to repair this window aperture. It wasn't too bad, it just needed some small sections cutting out, making and welding back in, and then finishing off with a spot welder to replicate those factory spot welds. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and check back in a couple of weeks where we'll have the metalwork finish on the shell and hopefully we'll be well into the bodywork.